This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Retaliatory reversal. Federal government removes seafood and fish products from counter-tariff list.
Detour distress. A key bridge closure in northern Nova Scotia is causing travel headaches and frustration for drivers.
And brewing change. Nova Scotia alcohol producers call for further reforms to increase their bottom line.
We're watching the lunar eclipse overnight, then increasing clouds with showers and a risk for thunderstorms on Friday. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. Seafood processors in the Maritimes are breathing a sigh of relief after nearly 2 days of worry about new tariff impacts.
The Canadian government has reversed its decision to include American fish and seafood products among its retaliatory tariffs, following backlash from some premiers and the industry. Haley Ryan reports.
Many seafood processors in the Maritimes rely on American products coming across the border. For them, the past 36 hours were a roller coaster after the Canadian government announced and then dropped American fish and seafood from its list of retaliatory tariffs.
I'm not sure how long it'll last, but for now, just a huge relief for everybody.
Ottawa reversed course late Wednesday night, about a day and a half after saying seafood was among the counter tariffs on $27 billion of U.S. goods. But that would be a major blow for the Eastern Canadian plants, importing and processing about $400 million of Maine lobster each year.
Very symbiotic relationship with our peers in the industry across the border. So, look, we're very happy that we landed where we did today.
The reversal comes after Richard says he and others in the industry raised concerns with Ottawa. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc says he also spoke with the premiers of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. A statement from Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston's office said seafood is incredibly important to the province, and he was pleased the federal government made this change.
My job is to fight for Canadian business, to fight for Canadian industry, to fight for Canadian fishers. Those are the ones that I listen to. And that's why we said if we need to update the list, we do it.
Earlier this week, the Nova Scotia Seafood Alliance said it was blindsided to have the industry included in the new tariffs.
For the economies of Atlantic Canada, it can't get more important than this. And so the government is trying to ensure that it's not killing those factories while also trying to send a message to the U.S.
To keep a dollar-for-dollar response to American tariffs, Canada has added other products to replace seafood. Those tariffs are set to come in on September 8th. Haley Ryan, CBC News, Halifax.
Demolition of the former Northern Pulp Mill could begin as soon as next month. The province issued an amended order today, clearing the way for the work. Mill owner Northern Timber Nova Scotia says the work should be completed by the end of 2027. Debris from the site will go to a scrap metal buyer or to an approved landfill. The company has set aside $15 million for the work as part of a court-approved closure plan resulting from its creditor protection process. What has yet to be determined is the future of the land. It's heavily contaminated from decades of the mill's operation. The province says next steps will be determined as part of the company's ongoing creditor protection process.
RCMP say no charges will be laid in the death of a teenage boy who was attacked by 3 dogs earlier this year in Shelburne County. 13-year-old Drew Nickerson was riding his bike past a property on Upper Sandy Cove Road in Welshtown on January 3rd when he was attacked by 2 Cane Corsos and a Rottweiler. Nickerson was airlifted to a Halifax hospital where he died 2 days later. RCMP say they've concluded their investigation and determined there were insufficient grounds to lay charges. In a Facebook post on Wednesday, Drew's mother, Dawn Nickerson, says she was, quote, in complete shock and disbelief to learn there'd be no charges would be laid in her son's death.
Dozens of victims who were sexually abused by Roman Catholic priests in the western and central Nova Scotia area will soon be compensated. The Archdiocese of Halifax-Yarmouth settled a class action lawsuit in 2022, but it has taken longer than anticipated to process all claims. Lawyers on both sides now say checks will likely be issued within the month. More than 65 victims will be given compensation. Payouts range from $22,000 to more than $300,000.
A bridge closure is disrupting travel on the North Shore. As the CBC's Luke Ettinger reports, it's a key route connecting rural communities.
A 20-kilometer detour outside Tatamagouche winds through dirt roads. The problem? This bridge is closed. An annual inspection happened last week, and the wooden piles underneath were found damaged. It's a key route connecting rural communities on the North Shore.
It's a series of small communities that make up one community, and you know, they kind of work and live together, and so this is a big deal.
A temporary bridge is being considered. On the detour, crews have cut brush, added gravel, and dust control products. MLA Elizabeth Smith-McCrossan says drivers have reported concerns about safety and damage to vehicles. She says the bridge closure and original detour route conditions are part of an infrastructure deficit.
And I think the Department of Public Works are having a real difficult time keeping up with the repairs that are needed when there's such large demand. And what they have shared with me in the past is that they have their schedule of bridge repairs every year, but then when something like this happens, it backs everything else up.
Smith-McCrossan says impacts to emergency response time is a concern here, as are additional fuel costs on the daily commute.
The urgency is there, right at the top, from the minister down. The urgency is there to get it done, okay?
The Department of Public Works says there's no timeline for reopening the bridge. Luke Ettinger, CBC News, Bayhead.
It is official. A tornado touched down on PEI yesterday, the first one in almost 20 years. Environment Canada says this one in Little Harbour was the smallest on the scale, but strong enough to toss some trees around into the air. Experts say it could have caused some damage if it hit a home. It reached a wind speed of about 115 kilometers per hour. There was also a waterspout in Rollo Bay that stays over the water. This happened during the wild weather that hit parts of the island yesterday. And with that, to Ryan now, a look at the weather forecast.
Yes, much calmer today, Ryan.
Much calmer today on the island and across Nova Scotia as well. Again, just the 7th tornado on record in PEI and just 9 on record in Nova Scotia. So, yeah, a pretty rare event here across at least eastern parts of the Maritimes. A little more frequent across New Brunswick, but rare there too. As we look at the forecast for tomorrow, we are indeed looking at some heavier showers, downpours, and the risk for thunderstorms creeping in into the afternoon and evening as another muggy air mass comes in for tomorrow. Temperatures in the 25 to 29 range. We're going to be feeling those humidex values more like 28 to 32. So it will be getting muggy. It is going to be fairly quiet for tonight. Good viewing for the partial eclipse. We'll talk about that with your full forecast coming up. And then for Friday, again, some sunshine early, clouds really building into the afternoon, and these heavier showers and downpours possible late afternoon, more so into the evening and overnight. We're clearing into the weekend. We'll talk about that too coming up.
That's good news.
The sounds of that. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Nova Scotian alcohol producers are looking for another round of changes to regulations in their industry. This summer, the Houston government allowed producers to open more retail outlets, and it signed on to interprovincial liquor trade across Canada. But some in the industry say they have a taste for more. You know, when you get a taste of something that's good, you want more? Well, that's kind of how the alcoholic beverage industry in Nova Scotia is feeling right now.
We're happy that we are seeing some progress.
Progress because the industry finally thinks the provincial government is starting to get them. It was only a couple of years ago, local vineyards in particular felt they were being undercut by government when it said it would allow imported bulk juice to be bottled here. Over at the craft breweries, they were facing rising costs and closures.
I think when you get into a situation like we have over the past few years, where you're fighting for your survival and you're having to maybe educate some folks on your industry and how it works and what makes you succeed, then I think you start to break down the barriers when you have both bureaucrats and politicians that are willing to listen. And
fast forward to this year, the government is now allowing companies to sell each other's products, and you can set up secondary retail stores separate from your production facilities. The province has also removed internal trade barriers with 7 provinces, allowing direct-to-consumer sales. All good, says the industry, but
Yeah, it's more of a recognition of the industry. We're not going to suddenly see orders coming in from everywhere. The cost to ship is just way too expensive. And you know, talking to all of our peers, I mean, we have board meetings monthly, and everybody's saying the exact same, singing the same tune. It's just not going to happen.
What they really want is a break on taxes. Take a can of locally crafted beer, for example. To sell it at the brewery, NSLC charges the producer 5% of the price. To sell it in an NSLC store, it jumps to 40%. Should your brewery grow to more than 15,000 hectoliters a year, it jumps to 81.5%.
We really worked hard to define a 5-tier system in essence, so that small breweries that might have been under 1,000 hectoliters would have like a 10% charge, and then as they grew, it would incrementally increase. It would just allow small breweries to invest more in equipment, invest more in staff, and hopefully continue to grow this industry as a whole. So.
And the big prize is shelf space at the NSLC. The industry wants more of it. The corporation says it already helps local producers get their product on their shelves with coaching and marketing. As for more shelf space, NSLC will only say it aims to offer a greater number of local product listings compared with local products' share of sales.
There's two ways to think about it, I guess. We deliver to one location, a warehouse in Halifax. They then disperse it to 30, 40, 50, whatever number of stores across the Maritimes. It's shelved by them, it's marketed by them. So there's value in that, and we see that. Some of us are okay with that, and some of us are like, well, 40% is still a little bit high, especially for the small players. That you know, that's a big cost to actually be on a shelf somewhere. So
I think what we see as local producers is Nova Scotia is not prominent in the NSLC. Whether you have more shelf space, more prominent shelf space, ideally we'd just like to see our market share grow. We want to see more people trying our product. If they can't find our product, or if they aren't necessarily even looking, or not being shown local, then that is where it became, you know, can be hindrance to us, right? Like for us, it's always liquid to lips. When the liquid hits your lips, we know you'll be back to try it again.
Tom Murphy, CBC News, Avondale.
Securing a childcare spot is a major challenge for any parent in Nova Scotia these days. But for those who work long and unusual hours, it can almost be impossible. Selena Alders brings us that story.
The typical daycare in Nova Scotia opens at 7 a.m. and closes in the evening between 5 and 6. But that's not ideal for nurse and mother of two Ali Feltmate, who works long days and occasional weekends.
I would say that it's like our number one stress, honestly. There were times where I would stay up before my night shift to take care of them.
She stopped working with patients altogether and moved into a different area of nursing that offers more flexibility.
I actually have, colleagues that I've worked with that had to drop down to either casual or part-time positions to accommodate childcare. So, they're unable to work full-time, so that's less nursing healthcare workers.
This single mother is in that predicament. She says she can only work 2 days per week because she can't find care that suits her unusual hours.
I actually, when I was on maternity leave, was babysitting for an LPN full-time. And then when I returned to work, we were trading off in parking lots. Like, she would have to get off just a little bit early so that I could drop her kids off to her, and then I would race to start my shift.
This daycare in Sydney launched a pilot project in 2024, offering overnight care and extended hours for the children of healthcare professionals. The Nova Scotia government has been evaluating the program, but it's still not clear if this model will be expanded to other parts of the province. The nurses' union says the government must come up with creative solutions to support parents, or the province risks losing healthcare workers.
Nurses are going to go where they need to go to meet their needs. And if their needs are daycare, they're going to go where they can get their child in daycare.
Hazelton says putting childcare centres in hospitals or long-term care homes is one concept that might help. Selena Alders, CBC News, Halifax.
Okay, in the Pugwash area, an unlikely visitor was recently spotted.
That's right, and it came all the way from Central and South America. This is a look at a crested caracara. It's a very uncommon visitor this far north, and its presence is rare enough to entice local birders.
Beautiful. The Nova Scotia Bird Society says many flocked to Cumberland County to catch a glimpse. These birds spend a lot of time on foot and are excellent hunters. Bird watchers say they're also easy to spot.
Beautiful Bayport down near Lunenburg. Ryan is up next with the full weather forecast. We'll see you after the break.
Your full weather forecast now, and as summer days go in Nova Scotia, this was a pretty darn nice one.
It was really nice for folks who've got to get out and enjoy it, right?
Yeah, that's right. And there's more to come. I know. As we look at the calendar creeping by, it's like, okay, how many more nice days like this, beach-going days? And this was certainly another great one for getting to the coast. Yeah, it does look like we've got a couple nice ones shaping up for Saturday and Sunday. Friday, increasing clouds and some wet weather moving in. First and foremost, though, the eclipse tonight.
Yes, of course.
Yes, lunar eclipse, not a full total eclipse, but the closest thing to it, like 93% will be eclipsed. So have a look at this. It begins around 11:30, late evening into the early overnight. And for you sky watchers, it looks like it's going to be maximum around 1:12 a.m. And then, yes, the partial eclipse ending around 2:51 a.m. So how is the sky going to shape up for this? Well, that's the million-dollar question, right? And it does look like we'll see at least partly cloudy skies. If you're hoping to do a time lapse of that lunar eclipse tonight. I'm expecting that there will be some cloud cover hindering just a perfect view. I don't think we're going to see a perfect view by any stretch, but I do think if you're hoping to view it, looks like the clouds will at least have some breaks in them, and we'll walk you through that with your full timeline in just a second. There are the temperatures out there right now. High teens, low 20s along the coastline. We're closer to the mid to high 20s further inland. The humidex values, yeah, they've been a factor today, but not feeling too oppressive. Mid to high 20s and a few 30s out there. We've been seeing a little bit of cloud cover rolling in today, but that is set to clear, and we've got a pretty good patch of clear skies here, but time's ticking, and yeah, we're hoping that we're going to be able to see that lunar eclipse before this thicker cloud cover starts to work in as we move into the overnight. Again, timeline in just a second. Let's first show you the temperatures. Just 18 in Vancouver right now, 11 in Whitehorse. Temperatures really surging into the prairies right now. Colder air sinking down out of the Great Lakes, out of Hudson Bay, into the Great Lakes. 22 in Thunder Bay, 23 here in Halifax, 24 in St. John's, Newfoundland. Now, as we look at the forecast for tonight, temperatures 15, 16 degrees for most. Light winds from the south, but those southerly winds will push in some fog patches along parts of the coast. We've been seeing that fog already in the Tri-County area, and now that, again, as we move into the late evening overnight, pausing things around 1, 2 a.m., it does look like, yes, partly cloudy. So expecting some cloud to be in the mix as we're trying to view that eclipse. But if you are successful, Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. Would love to see some picks to feature here on the show tomorrow night. As we look at the forecast for tomorrow, note some sunshine, especially Cape Breton in the morning. Across that Northumberland shore, I think we see some sunshine as well. Can't rule it out in Metro, but I think it'll be cloudier than not from the get-go. And then these shower and thunderstorm chances are going to be marching in throughout the afternoon and certainly into the evening. Temperatures on Cape Breton ranging between 22 and 27. Warmest temps, Cheticamp and Ingonish. Increasing clouds into the afternoon, but a pretty good day there. Looking at temperatures as warm as 28. Antigonish County back into parts of Pictou County and Colchester County as well. Looking at the increasing clouds and a chance for some showers and thunderstorms moving through into the afternoon. And I do think the clouds pretty capped from the get-go here in the west with those southerly winds and temperatures ranging between 24 and onshore winds more like 27 to 28 degrees as we work our way into the Annapolis Valley. There's the setup as we move into Saturday. So the system moving out, some lingering clouds, chance for a shower lingering for you folks in Cape Breton and perhaps Guysborough and Antigonish counties in the morning. By lunchtime, looks like that chance is wrapping up. And we are looking at, indeed, that northwest flow coming in and kind of clearing things out into the afternoon. With that northerly flow, coolest temperatures will be from Inverness County back towards the Annapolis Valley, and Yarmouth, warmest temperatures will be here along the Atlantic coastline into the afternoon, but we're going to have to wait. Looks like mid to late afternoon is when it'll be at its best if you're hoping to hit the beach. Sunday, winds shift back to the southwest and some increasing clouds into the afternoon, but looking like a pretty good day overall. As you can see, the muggy meter crashing. So it will be muggy tomorrow, crashing through the day on Saturday, creeping up a little bit on Sunday, and then flatlining next week. What does that mean? It means it's going to be kind of feeling like fall. Some shower chances, but overall not bad as we kick off September.
Not bad at all.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Less than 20 kilometers from Newfoundland, climate change is forcing France to make a big move. A small French community on the French islands next to North America is threatened by rising sea levels.
The town has started an enormous undertaking, a first for France, to rebuild an entire town on higher ground. The CBC's Mark Quinn reports.
Most of Miquelon's 600 residents live on an isthmus of sand and stones only 2 meters above sea level. They're witnessing erosion caused by more frequent and more violent storms. In 2014, French authorities prohibited construction in the most exposed areas of town. Then in 2022, Hurricane Fiona hit hard. That ferocious storm accelerated Miquelon's plan to abandon its current site and rebuild 2 kilometers inland. Miquelon's mayor, Frank Decheverry, says he understands why some people don't want to move, but he says they have no choice.
Si aujourd'hui on n'avait rien fait, c'est sûr et certain que Miquelon serait mort sur le long terme.
Decheverry says if nothing's done today, Miquelon is certain to disappear. Relocating is an enormous undertaking that will require construction of roads, sidewalks, water and sewer infrastructure. It's expected to cost more than 300 million Canadian dollars. The community will rely on money the French government gives to the owners of properties threatened by natural disasters and climate change. He believes that the community asks for the money little by little, it's more likely to get it.
Si on demandait cet argent petit à petit sur une très longue période, ce serait plus facile d'obtenir de l'argent.
So far, 9 homes are under construction at the new site. Mayor Decheverry says it's impossible to say how long it will take to build about 300 homes and public buildings.
En fait, on n'en a aucune idée.
French President Emmanuel Macron is scheduled to visit Saint-Pierre-et-Miquelon in September. The town hopes he'll announce more funding for their relocation project. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
Coming up, the province changes regulations after a court ruled people living in tents cannot be denied income assistance. Two years ago, Bradley Lowe was making the case for more money before the Income Assistance Appeal Board, arguing his tent was his home and he should qualify for more government assistance. The board dismissed his appeal shortly after he died of an overdose. Lawyer Vince Calder had successfully appealed his case to the Nova Scotia Court of Appeal, but he's here to talk now about a government move that will thwart Lowe's efforts and that recent ruling by the courts. So, Mr. Calderhead, what has the provincial government effectively done here in the last few days to address this court ruling?
Well, yeah, it's very disappointing. About 2 weeks after the court decision, the government basically rewrote the law so as to overturn the court's decision.
Yeah, I gather in essence, changing the regulations to better define what a home is, which was the crux of Bradley's argument, right?
Yeah, well, the Court of Appeal didn't say that it was an unclear term. They said, in a way, it's very broad, and the fact that it's broad does not make it unclear. But what they've done is changed the wording from accommodation to home, and then they've further defined that as saying you need to have a plumbing, a sink, a living area, bathroom, so on and so forth. In other words, serving to exclude people who are living in tents and other forms of informal accommodation.
And so how do you feel about that?
Well, it's very frustrating. I mean, while it doesn't affect the low case itself, because regulations are not retroactive, it's just very frustrating where the government had a couple of options open to it. One was to abide by the court's decision and see how it goes, see how many people took up the higher rate, how many people were in tents and asked for the higher amount, and saw how that played out. Maybe it resulted in less justice system involvement. Maybe it involved less appearances at emergency departments and hospitals. In other words, see how it goes and talk to the public and so on. But in this case, they took another option and they chose to not even consider any of that, really just force people back down into very, very deep poverty.
And to help the audience understand here, when we talk about change in payment, we were talking, it was hundreds of dollars more a month, right?
That's right. It depending upon whether they had a disability, it could have been $400 or $500, or maybe $600 or $700 more, depending upon their actual situation. But it was a meaningful amount of money. And so what they've done, it needs to be seen as just a very cruel decision in terms of the policy they chose.
Okay, now the government is saying that it's making the change to ensure the legislation and the regulations clearly reflect the policy intent for how income assistance is applied, that it was never intended for someone in a tent, is what I read between the lines there. What do you say to that?
Well, the court, they used when they drafted, and this was their drafting, their laws, their regulations, they used the term accommodation. So they must have known what they meant by that. And the court had no problem at all interpreting that. So for them to pretend that, oh, we're just trying to clarify our intent, really what they're effectively saying is, for those people in the situation Bradley Lowe was in, and there are many hundreds others around the province, we are choosing to ensure that you remain in very deep poverty.
Do you think that by not allowing the increased payment to happen, so changing the legislation to sort of go around the court decision, might there be a concern that if the government didn't do that, that paying people in tents more government assistance might make people less likely to move from a tent to a shelter, which is where, if you listen to the government in the past at least, where it wants to at least see people to go as a first resort or last resort, at least temporarily?
Yeah, they actually argued all that in court. They raised that before the Court of Appeal, and their counsel tried out different arguments like that. And the court said, look, that doesn't seem to be part of the concern of the legislation. So in terms of policy concerns, the government will often say people know their own interests best. And for someone who's unable to afford housing, because social assistance rates are so manifestly inadequate, and finds themselves unhoused, this is the best option available to them.
Is there an appeal here?
Well, if what you're asking is the change in the regulations challengeable in court, that's a hard one. You would need to look at it very carefully, and you would need someone, a real live person, to say that they're in this situation and want to challenge it. You need to look at it really carefully. And as we've seen from Bradley Lowe's case, this took 3 years basically to get to where we are today. And yet people in that situation need solutions and need adequate housing right away. So if you're asking, is it the right solution to go back to court and challenge it and undertake another 3-year litigation struggle? No, I think the proper approach is for the government to do the right thing for once for people in very deep poverty.
All right. I really appreciate you giving us your insights into this, lawyer Vince Calderhead. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Coming up, rescue teams search for hundreds of missing people after massive floods ripped through Nepal.
And tensions worsen between the U.S. and Canada as Donald Trump makes a move to rename Lake Ontario. Welcome back. Rescue teams are searching for thousands of people along the Nepal-Tibet border after deadly flash flooding ripped through the region.
At least 30 Canadians are missing and hundreds of people are dead. Chien Desjardins has the latest. A warning now, you may find some of the images in this story disturbing.
The devastation near Nepal's capital, incomprehensible. Dense mud has struggled to trudge through, coating towns, hampering efforts to find survivors. The clock ticking. The floods came quickly, he says. It exploded like a bomb. In a tourist hotspot along the Nepal-Tibet border, so many are still missing, including dozens of Canadians.
It is a mountainous region and with all communication cut off because of the road damaged, etc. So it has been challenging.
The trekking company Himalayan Glacier says it has Canadians unaccounted for, and the Isha Foundation does too, several from Toronto.
Looking at the scale of destruction, it looks bad.
Its group last confirmed here, says a spokesperson, mere minutes before this.
Since that time, we haven't had any communication with those people who are involved.
Outside Toronto, members of the Nepali community trying to stay strong.
There is no word to express how we are feeling. I know this is very terrible.
Helpless, but yet to give up hope. It's getting harder and harder, though. This woman says her husband never came home. And this one giving the name of her 26-year-old son, hoping someone knows something. He's a truck driver, and she can't find him. For many that are found, this is the only way out.
The logistics challenge here is really enormous. And it will not just be enormous in terms of getting there, but then in terms of digging out people's lives out of all of that mud is going to be incredible.
As videos continue to emerge, the extent of this disaster becomes more clear. People ran for their lives. The water immensely powerful.
It's extremely difficult to get through to a lot of the villages. We have a team on the ground and they've travelled as far as they can up to this point, and it's just, the roads are not accessible.
The trail of destruction now getting in the way of those trying to help. Chien Desjardins, CBC News, Toronto.
U.S. President Donald Trump is taking aim at Canada again. He has renamed it Lake Ontario and now says the U.S. doesn't want cars made in Canada anymore. Ashley Burke has the latest on the fallout from trade talks and what it means for Canada's auto industry.
We're going to be changing the name of Lake Ontario.
Donald Trump continuing to taunt Canada, signing an executive order to rename Lake Ontario Lake America in the U.S.
The Canadian officials have treated us very badly. They're nasty people.
But the more serious blow, the pain the president wants to inflict on Canada's auto sector.
We're going to be doing tariffs on their cars that are coming in at a substantial level because we want to make the cars here.
It's the latest fallout after trade talks collapsed almost a week ago. Canada blames the U.S. for making last-minute changes to the deal. The U.S. says it's Canada that did that.
These were things they put in order to make it end. You know, when someone doesn't want the deal, they make up and say, oh, I'll do the deal with you only if you wear green. And you're like, but I'm not wearing green. You say, oh, sorry, it's not going to work out. It was nonsense.
Yesterday, Trump's top trade negotiator spoke exclusively to CBC News and said Canada raised concerns late that tariffs wouldn't be lowered on some pickup trucks as part of a deal.
And I understand why the Canadians, want to have as much as they can get, but we are focused on doing what's good for America.
He said what's good for America is building back its own auto manufacturing.
We believe that the process of globalization for the United States, of integrating with other economies, even our close neighbors with whom we trade a lot, we think that has had some negative effect.
In Canada, others say the two countries' auto sectors are so integrated, the U.S. is hurting itself.
Their objective may be to improve the U.S. position, but they are shooting at their own team, and it makes zero sense.
The government now facing questions about how it plans to keep the auto sector alive.
We've been helping the plants, the companies, and we will continue to do so.
The industry minister says she's traveling to Toronto to meet with the auto sector tomorrow morning. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Canada's honey industry is getting hit hard by the new U.S. tariffs, and it comes at the worst time for them, as honey farmers are now harvesting the product and getting ready to go to market.
So Canada exports about 23 million pounds of honey out of Canada, and about half of that ends up in the United States. So that's a huge chunk and makes it a lot harder to move some honey.
Much of the honey supplied to the United States comes from Western Canada, with Alberta being the largest honey producer in the country. Beekeeper associations are calling on the federal government to make it easier for Canadians to buy domestically produced honey.
A major point of contention in Canada-U.S. trade talks is the absence of American alcohol on Canadian shelves. Most provinces and territories removed it last year in retaliation for U.S. tariffs. American distillers are suffering. And as Peter Cowan reports, the trade war is a concern for Canadian distillers, too.
According to Spirits Canada, about half of the liquor that's produced here in Canada actually ends up south of the border. A lot of this are some of the big names in Canadian whiskey, folks like Crown Royal and Canadian Club that are household names in the United States. And the concern is that 50% tariffs could see that market evaporate for these products. I was talking to some of the smaller producers, for example, Crystal Head Vodka, which is distilled in Canada, bottled right here in St. John's, but about 40% of these bottles are sent down to the United States. They say a 50% tariff will price them out of the market. They just can't compete, and they're worried about what's going to happen.
I don't think the U.S. consumer will take, we can cut our profit to zero. Our distributors will work tighter, but it would still impact the price of on the shelf significantly. Where I think we'd be on the shelf, but I don't think we'd be doing any meaningful business.
Crystal Head says they do already have products in warehouses in the United States, so in the short term they're fine. But if these tariffs drag on for weeks or even months, that's where the real problems are going to happen. It's a similar story for Iceberg Vodka. It's been able to carve out a market in the U.S. with its unique marketing being a vodka made from melted iceberg water, but it says the U.S. market is very price sensitive. It has seen an uptick in sales in Canada thanks to more Canadians choosing Canadian products, so they're trying to put their efforts here.
Say we've had to pivot and put some resources into other areas in order to just sort of insulate ourselves out of necessity of anything happening, and we're going sideways south of the border, so to speak, looking for other export markets. Investing a little bit more here in Canada with our liquor boards.
The companies say they'd like help from the Canadian government with opening new markets, for example, selling to other countries. But with the U.S. market being big and just next door, they don't think it'll be able to make up for what they could lose. Peter Cowan, CBC News, St. John's.
As the trade war between the U.S. and Canada heats up, Americans are feeling the impact. The CBC's Katie Nicholson went to Youngstown, Ohio, where many jobs and businesses rely on cross-border trade, and frustration is growing.
The finishing touches on a new build in Youngstown, Ohio.
Working on the stairs going up.
Thing is, Joe Koch had expected to build 3 or 4 more in this area.
People are just going to not build that house this year. They're going to wait till interest rates lower. They're going to wait till the tariffs subside.
Punishing tariffs forced Koch to find new suppliers. He used to buy Canadian shingles. Now he buys American. That's worked out for him.
This would be coming from either Canada or...
But being caught in the middle of a chaotic trade war with his state's biggest customer, Canada, that's tough.
There's no victory. It's just battle after battle, and you win where you can. You try to minimize the damage wherever there is damage, and then you live to fight another day.
They won't make a decision.
If you ask the regional chamber, some businesses have found opportunity in this trade war.
There's a mixed bag. It hurts some, it helps some, and there's some companies where it hurts on one side and helps on the other. I think overall there's probably a net negative.
At the local ballpark, some already feeling the pinch.
I just bought a car today that was $100 more a month than the exact same car I bought 3 years ago. People can't buy groceries.
It's so bad, some think tariff pressure could flip this red state blue come November.
People vote with their pocketbook.
And when you go to the grocery store, you go to Walmart, shampoo is more expensive, stuff like that, everything. And people vote by that.
The trade war also crushing some ambitions at this aluminum fence and gate maker.
We'd like to further extend our reach into the provinces, but it isn't cost effective right now.
And even though he'd like to buy Canadian aluminum, not with a 50% tariff rate.
Regardless of the political affiliations and points of view of your Prime Minister and our President, the bottom line is it's affecting us as individuals, as consumers.
And despite the upheaval and uncertainty, at this factory at least, Ohio soldiers on.
A closely watched trial in Massachusetts has gone to the jury. Lindsay Clancy killed her 3 young children in 2023 and was left paralyzed after jumping from a window. Chris Reyes looks at why the case has attracted worldwide attention.
A devastating closing argument from Clancy's lawyer, Kevin Reddington, who gave an ardent defense of his client, arguing that she was a woman in psychosis who was desperately looking for help months before. There was a chilling moment in which he held up a family photo and then the crime scene, and he argued the only way that you would get from one to the other is because of failed care, inconsistent treatment, dozens of different prescription drugs. Clancy listened to all of this looking stoic.
Yes. Turn into this. How?
This has sparked a lot of conversation around postpartum care, given that throughout the case, the defense portrayed Clancy as someone who tried to get help for months for her insomnia, anxiety, depression. She even checked herself into a psychiatric ward. Hundreds of women wearing pink have shown up at the trial in support of Clancy, with many saying that her story resonated with them. Now, the prosecution opened with a conciliatory line that Clancy was suffering from mental illness, that she tried to kill herself. But lawyer Jennifer Sprague also listed all the ways that Clancy was rational about many decisions, including what to do about her mental illness, what kind of treatment she wanted, and what to do about the children who were caught in her struggle. In this trial, Sprague argued Clancy did get help and did have support and yet killed her children anyway.
The issue is whether at the time she killed Cora, Dawson, and Callan, she knew the difference between right and wrong. She wants help. No one's saying she doesn't want help, but she's making these decisions and doing these things.
Nearly 100 witnesses were called during this 5-week trial. The jury must now decide whether Clancy is guilty of 3 counts of murder that could result in a maximum sentence of life in prison. If Clancy is found not criminally responsible, she would be committed to a facility. Chris Reyes, CBC News, New York.
Canada's main stock index continued to look past the escalating trade tensions as it ended in the green on Thursday. Here's a look at the numbers now as we head to break. Thoughts of being at the beach today, Amy? Were you
I was thinking
disappointed
about
you were
it.
at work today?
Well, no, I get to hang out with you guys.
Oh,
You know,
right.
what's
Yeah.
it's better than a day at the beach, you know?
It was a nice day. Shall we settle on that?
Listen, there's a lot of talk at the TV row where we sit about how many beach days are left, and listen, we know how many weekend beach days are left.
Yeah.
We know those are going to become numbered for sure, and so we'll talk about the weekend in just a second. First and foremost, not the beach, but on the coast. So we know we feature this all the time. This is a live shot of Lunenburg, and a beautiful shot there. We normally see this view from Nova Scotia webcams, but I thought I show this before we show our picture, which is, yes, from Lunenburg, and it's kind of the other view.
The other angle.
Looking the other angle.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
Lunenburg from any angle is pretty darn
That
nice,
is right.
isn't it?
It really is. Janice Young, thank you so much for sharing this. And she rightly pointed out from the other way, looking from the other side of the webcam. So thanks to Janice for that. Tomorrow, looking at clouds, showers, chance for some thunderstorms, but really ramping up in the afternoon. The morning's pretty quiet. We're going to be seeing, in fact, a great day for Cape Breton tomorrow. Increasing clouds, but temperatures into the mid-20s. The Northumberland shore, sunshine in the morning, increasing clouds. We'll see a chance for showers as we work our way into the afternoon. And I think the cloud cover a little more dominant from the get-go in through the southwest, Tri-County area, South Shore, and temperatures there still nice. Then for Saturday, we are watching that wet weather move out. Chance for a shower lingering for Cape Breton, but overall looking pretty good. And that Atlantic coastline, for you beachgoers, it looks like mid to late afternoon is setting up to be pretty nice with that northerly flow, skies clearing, and that offshore flow, which is always so nice. Note the mugginess kind of falling away for Saturday, creeping back up on Sunday, which will be a pretty nice day. Also with a mix of sun and cloud, winds from the southwest, so a bit of an onshore flow developing along the Atlantic coastline, but a great day for the north-facing beaches on Sunday.
There you go.
Okay, good information.
All right, well, if you like food fights, the place to be, yesterday at least, was this town in eastern Spain. It's where the world's biggest food fight festival takes place every year on the last Wednesday in August. More than 20,000 people throw tomatoes at each other for 1 hour.
In all, about 165 tons of overripe, low-quality tomatoes are tossed and smeared. There is one golden rule in the messy ordeal. Participants must squash tomatoes before throwing them so they don't hurt anyone.
The tradition originated from a good old-fashioned food fight back in 1945.
Messy.
And it endures. That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.